So Rekieta's options are now one of three things. He can either appeal this, and I am almost guaranteed in saying that he will appeal this, because he doesn't have a choice. If he's hoping to get this dismissed pre-trial, he must. He has no choice. Not having an omnibus hearing where he raised things that actually succeed is a big detriment to him, because he can't squash any evidence or anything. Anything that was supposed to happen before the trial has been denied preemptively because he didn't raise them. So he kind of has to ask the appellate court to give him a second chance. Like, well, wait a second, I didn't know they would be denied. I wouldn't have just asked for the Franks hearing then. He has to. He has no choice. So, and that's expensive, by the way. Even with Hardin, appeals and Supreme Court stuff, that's expensive because there's a lot to it, and then you have to pay fees because the fees go up as you get higher into the ranks, and you have to bind things a certain way, and you have to pay printing companies, and those are like their fees they're monopolies, so they can charge whatever if they want. That shit's expensive, so that's probably going to be at least $10,000 for him to appeal this one motion to the state appellate court. That's a big deal. So he's going to appeal that. He's got his house hasn't his Zillow listing for the second house hasn't sold yet, so he doesn't have that money. He might reduce the price. If any of you are looking for a house in Spicer, Minnesota, keep a lookout on that listing, because after the shit, when he files his appeal, I have a feeling that house is going to go down by $20,000 on the Zillow listing. Just keep in mind you're going to be living next to Rekieta. So then, aside from the appeal, he either is going to have to take a plea or he's going to have to go to trial. And this is the issue that they have. If he takes a plea, he's guilty. And if he's guilty, then he no longer has a presumption of innocence. And if he no longer has a presumption of innocence, then the government has no reason to release particularities of public record that may meaningfully harm the reputation of a presumed innocent person. Certain records that I have interest in, chat, if he were to plea out. So he may not plea out specifically because he would not want those specific records to become matters of public record. If he goes to trial, then, of course, he doesn't get a plea deal, which is generally beneficial. I think that it usually goes that it's more expensive and you get a harsher sentence if you fight it out to the bitter fucking end. So he may not get that. But if he goes to trial, then certain matters of public record will enter evidence and then be released as evidence to the public, as all evidence is, usually, including things that I have specific interest in, chat. So, that's where we're at with that. And Rekieta's position is and he's so full of pride. Like a normal person, of course, would simply take the plea, because I have a feeling that he's a first-time offender, he's got kids, he needs the support. It's a no-brainer. To what end does the government have in putting an innocent, not innocent, but like a normal family man in jail for a non-violent offense, even? None. It costs them money, and you don't pay taxes when you're in jail because you don't make any money. And then you have a bunch of kids that are more reliant on the public systems because they don't have a dad that's providing for them. So it doesn't make sense for them to be like, hey, let's put you in jail forever. That doesn't make any sense. They just want you to stop costing them money and being a nuisance. That's it. So, yeah, obviously the plea deal would make the most sense. But then if he's guilty, then that opens up Pandora's box, So I don't know. And I don't feel bad for him because everybody told him that. And what's really weird is that he's still so arrogant. I remember... Do you guys remember the special Rekieta stream that I did after he got arrested? I think I had like 2 special Rekieta streams in a row where I did like a full front-to-back commentary on his Anime Sucks Cope and Sneed chat or stream. And then I did like another stream that was immediately after that was mostly just about him being arrested and his arraignment in jail. And I remember I made a prediction. I don't know if it was a prediction. I hesitate to call it that. But I was thinking aloud about what I expected him to do once he got out of jail. I expected that he would sit the 3-day weekend in jail, but he got out with bond. And then with recognizance bond, then he paid the money so he could not do piss tests. And then, funnily enough, and he rewrites history. He paid that money so he wouldn't have to piss test. But then the family court made him do tests anyways without any way out of it as part of the custody stuff. So he has to do the piss test anyways. So he paid all that money for nothing. And he tries to make that out like it was just like, oh, I had no idea that was going to happen. And then when they said you got to go pee-pees in the cup, I was like, oh, of course, I'll do anything to get my children back. He paid so much money to the point where he had to put a mortgage out on his house to get the $100,000 for him and his wife. And then they pee tested him anyways. And I know that's what happened. He can cope and sneeze that it was something else. But I know he paid not to do the test, and then they made him do the test anyways. But I was thinking, as I said, that I was imagining what his first actions would be after he got out. He would get out, and then he would have to stream again. That's his job. So what's he going to do? And I imagined in my head that what he would do is he would come out, and then he would do a coming to Jesus moment, I suppose what you would say, as PPP would say. He likes to use that phrase. And he would say, like, I know I've let people down. I'm going to work with the state. I'm going to get my kids back. I thought there was a really good chance because I didn't see how there could be any other way to address it. You have to stream to make your money. You have to be popular. You have to have people's respect. People have to want to give you money and respect you in order for you to make your job doing this avenue. So I saw no possible way for him to come back and not do that, and not do the, I've learned a lot type of thing. And I was completely blown away. I remember even saying on the stream, though, that he may not do that because he's like such an arrogant buffoon. And then, like, his first stream back, he comes back and starts accusing the government of all this fucking conspiracy and naming specific workers out, saying that they hated him and they had past relations and they had prejudice against him and they lied on their oath. Like, all this crazy shit. Like, immediately when his first day back, I can't even believe it. That's the avenue you want to go. Like, it's just... I don't even know. I guess his kid testing positive is like the worst thing, and people would never forgive him for that. But it's like there was definitely an opportunity after the arrest for him to try and make amends and be a good Christian dad again. And for whatever reason, there's no way that April M. Hall is that good at anything that it's worth it. She either has like a mountain of dirt on this guy that would make your skin crawl, or he's just like actually brain damaged. The holes have like gone from end to end. You could take one of those little fuzzy like metal bendy straw things, pipe cleaner. You could take a pipe cleaner and weasel that through his brain without ever hitting any gray matter because there's so many holes in it. That's the only thing I can come up with at this point. That's the Rekieta thing. Everything he's been working on in the past couple weeks since the omnibus hearing, since the last time I talked about him. I think it's been 3 weeks even, because I know that he came back from his 3-week hiatus to stream recently. So I want to say it's probably been 3 weeks since the omnibus, since I talked about the Kiwis going to the courthouse. And in that time, his big project, the Franks hearing, is completely and totally eviscerated. And not only was that eviscerated, it also appears that he's really shot himself in the foot, and he missed a lot of more realistic, opportunistic ways to mitigate damage and posture the case in his favor by only raising the Franks hearing at the omnibus, expecting that he would just get a second omnibus hearing because he's Nick Rekieta and he's special.